Thanks very much for coming in under what I know are difficult circumstances for you. I understand that you had been working with Reeva for quite a while now.
Yes, of course. We cast her in the show a year ago and just in fact finished in November filming the show in Jamaica.
So how closely did you actually work with her on set?
Incredibly closely, of course. It's a reality show, and as both the executive producer and director of the show, exceptionally closely. I'd like to think that I knew Reeva quite well, and am of course shocked and horrified at the news.
Many people out there are wondering, who was Reeva Foreman? Can you just paint us a picture of who she was?
Absolutely. Reeva was vivacious and beautiful and caring and sweet and just the most incredibly luminous personality. I think that it's misleading when you see pictures of her and you only, and with the model, the majority of her body of work is of course images, beautiful cover shots from FHM and things like that, that you sometimes miss the person underneath, who was just this incredible girl, brainy and smart and effervescent and just really, really lovely.
You know, it's interesting that you mention that because one does get rather a one-dimensional view of a model. But we know she also had a law degree. She had a varied number of interests as well, didn't she?
Very much so. She was a smart girl. I mean, she was one of the most intelligent women I've ever met. She had a great sense of wit, and she just had a way of becoming such a part of a group that it's so bittersweet right now, but wherever Reeva went, the joke quickly became that if you knew Reeva for 5 minutes, it was impossible to not become infected with Reeva fever. You know, she was that lovely. So it's on my show, which is a reality show, which the entire point is to kind of vote people off and take the million. No one could look Reeva's way because she was just such an intimate of the cast, of the crew. She was truly an amazing girl. It's horrible.
Let's talk a little bit about working with her on this show. I mean, what exactly was she required to do in this show that you were involved in with her?
Well, there's a number of elements to Tropika Island of Treasure. So the first part of that is, and what the public would have seen all of last year, is involved media campaign where she starred in with 6 other celebrity contestants, starred in our television commercials, had a huge amount of media appearances, and really kind of, was presented to the South African public as somebody you'd want to watch, a cast member of a very popular reality show. And then once we had picked 7 consumer contestants, we took all 14 of them to Jamaica to film this reality show, of which she was a part of. So 12-hour days where they did everything from competing games to visit the most incredible Jamaican sites, whether it was jumping off cliffs or riding into the ocean with horses, doing various things like that. And that's it. Reeva was a team player. She was 100%, always, she was fearless. She was the fiercest competitor. She was exceptionally good at things, and smart and lovely. So as far as that's concerned, I mean, she was a key member of a reality show. There's, she's involved in every scene. She's there constantly.
Samantha, her relationship with Oscar Pistorius, I suppose, is a relatively new phenomenon. I understand the relationship was only a couple of months old, or 3 months old or so. How open was she about her relationship with him?
She was very careful about it. She was very careful about what the public knew as far as that was concerned, and she felt that it was important that they be presented as their own people without the additional baggage of a relationship. To be in the public eye in this day and age is an exceptionally difficult thing to do. You're harassed on social media outlets by fans of him and of your own, but also people who are not fans, and so it's a very difficult environment to open yourself in that way. And so a lot of celebrities take the decision that their personal life will remain personal and private, and that was certainly Reeva's standing, and she kept to that, and she felt it was important not to in any way affect either the integrity of his public reputation or hers, and so it was close to the vest. It was not for public consumption.
But certainly with those who were closer to her and knew her more intimately, could she see herself with this man in the long term, perhaps?
Well, doesn't any woman who's had a long relationship with a man, or with anyone, and in terms of that, I mean, Reeva, it was certainly, she was in love, absolutely, and happy. The last time I saw her was last week last Thursday, when we screened the first episode to the media, and though careful about conversations, she intimated plans for the night and how excited she was, and she was certainly excited about her relationship and very comfortable in it, just chose to keep it private.
Well, was there any hint of any kind of conflict between them throughout the time you knew that they were together?
No, not that I knew of, and it's not something that she shared with me, but there's no reason why she necessarily would have. But there was no. She was a happy girl.
Samantha, many people are going to be wondering, is the airing of the series going to go ahead now in the wake of her demise?
We had a huge amount of deliberation back and forth with regards to whether or not the show should continue to air. And when I say should continue to air, it premieres this Saturday. And I felt quite strongly that the fact is that people don't know this amazing woman, and that it is impossible not to see how amazing she is when you watch her, when you listen to her, when you hear her laugh permeate every conversation. And I feel that since we have the footage of her, it would almost be a disservice to have, in the wake of the fact that she's been killed, to not have that air. It feels as though it would be an almost more complete erasal of who she is, and I just feel as though I want the country to understand how amazing she was.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Samantha Moon, very intimate portrait there of Reeva, who was killed, of course, in the early hours of this morning, allegedly by Oscar Pistorius. That is the major story we're following for you this afternoon. We'll take you through the angles in a second.